Uduasha city, where the sun is a mirror and the moon a shadow. 800 years ago, the gates of death were broken by the Emperor Immortal. The 5 key bearers, however, had already unlocked them and walked right through. It is in Uduasha city they dwell. Now, the ghost field breathes next to our reality, lit by the eternal flame of the well of Udu. It is a second skin, a place where thought and will struggle against gravity and light. In other places, the dead congregate in the ghost field, but in Uduasha, the well city, the hell city, they fall straight into the flames. See its glittering districts: Kshitijpur, where the rich plot to buy the horizon; Bunda West, where the refugees of 2 different nations flock; and Pasarhandu, the vertical maze of market and murder. And here is Udepat, where the ceaseless temple resides. Its inhabitants, a family, a snake, and a god. The temple has stood since before the gods of this world were forgotten. Watch as it turns the wheels of revolution. Welcome to Desperate Attune, an actual play podcast about people who take risks so they can survive against the odds.
Last time on Desperate Attune, the crew arrived at Mount Himagiri, the grand hotel where Freya had been taken for Skurlock's ritual. The crew checked in without issue, but shortly afterwards caught the attention of a spirit warden. The warden had been sent by the Emperor to keep an eye on Skurlock, but he set his sights on Joan instead. The aura given off by one who'd eaten a god was impossible to ignore. Joan managed to throw off the warden's scent by sending a vial of spirit essence down a dumbwaiter. Unfortunately, the lure put the warden in the path of Constance Constable, who'd continued her inspection of the temple, and the two were now working together. Meanwhile, Vickers and her cohort were making their way up to their rooms, assisted by a waxwork golem. It was customary in Uduasha to put a coin into the golem for good luck, and while doing so, Vickers discovered a knife hidden within the waxwork. She correctly deduced that Freya had hidden the knife in there for later, and furthermore, that the knife had been used to eat lobster, a rare delicacy in Uduasha. Back at the lobby, Miraz was trying to surreptitiously ask the receptionist about Freya's whereabouts. Vickers had disguised him as a daring privateer, and it did the trick. The enamored receptionist told him where Freya was being held, but there was a catch. There was no known way into that room. Miraz earnestly pled for her help, but she took the earnestness for something more, and fell for Miraz, and Miraz, caught up in his own roleplay, seized the moment and kissed her. At this moment, Abbas and Vickers burst in, with Abbas loudly complaining that the hotel food had made him deathly ill. They knew that Freya and Lord Skurlock recently had the lobster, and hoped to draw them out by implying that the food was poisoned. Abbas's story was given a boost in credibility when Joan's spirit essence arrived in the kitchen via the dumbwaiter. With the hotel staff now panicking over this, Joan slipped out undetected and began the long climb up to Freya's suite. And now, with Joan trying to rescue Freya, and Vickers trying to process her husband's seeming betrayal, we continue the story.
We see you. One of the reasons, by the way, that you are able to do this is that you are goat-footed. Most people, the reason that this extremely stressful and high-class hotel is vulnerable to this is that they don't expect people who can basically stand on perfectly sheer vertical wall to be able to come up the wall, right? But you are totally fine. And as you crest that last bit of solid wall, because 60% of this hotel is actually canvas, you see the Emperor's suite in the distance. What about it immediately tells you that, of course, this is the suite that they're all talking about?
The full-on actual green plants garden that is its balcony.
Oh, amazing. And these are not electroplasm plants, right? These aren't plants that have been grown with electroplasm to make them special. These seem to be rather genuinely the kinds of plants that we would see in our real world. You've grown with sunlight, and you have no idea how they have managed this, right? Fantastic. Miraz, how have they incorporated electroplasmic engineering into this Emperor suite to make it perfect for Lord Skurlock's needs.
In fact, they haven't, because
Oh.
electroplasm just stops working along Lord Skurlock,
Okay.
or just works strangely. He
Interesting.
is.
Okay.
No one knows why.
Interesting.
He's
So
one of
you
those
would say
people who has
rather
an
than like
electricity allergy.
No,
You
what
see.
really happens is that all the ghost energy is instantly sucked up by him as he feeds on the vampiric energy of spirit life everywhere he
excellent.
goes.
So in fact, what they've done is removed all of the electroplasm that is normally there.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Golems also can't really be around him for longer than 5 minutes before they all get, like, all the ghosts' energy in the golem just gets sucked away as well.
So actually,
In
now
fact-
we find out that.
In
No,
fact,
go on.
even being around him as a living human being, if you spend, let's say, 24 hours around him, you'll be a soulless husk.
Jesus Christ. Are you telling me that, like, if Freya has seen him, she has only done so for like 10 or 15 minutes at a time?
Yeah, basically. He basically has to be like lead shielded every single time. Something like that.
Yes. Very good. Yeah.
Like he has to word himself if he wants to actually interact with other people, which he loves interacting with other people.
Yeah, I think he's a very personable man. Great. Okay. So there's no electroplasm. And I guess, Joan, like, you're able to tell this, like, because the rest of the hotel does have a fair amount of electroplasm in it, lighting, flooring, all the stuff, but like the Emperor Suite, in that way, completely dark. Vickers, what has the hotel done that makes it clear that Lord Skurlock likes his lodgings to be particularly comfortable in the way that, like, only really traditional Akarosi high-class nobles like their lodgings?
Okay, so how have they made it more like Akarosi lodgings? Interesting. So obviously Lord Skurlock must have servants, and since we've just established that he has trouble because, like, all of his servants die from being around long enough, I think
well, actually, no. I think they become hollowed.
Yeah. Okay, so he has hollow servants. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think what they have provided him with in this case is they have. So he has brought his own servants, obviously, because he would leave traces if he hollowed the servants people provide him with. So he has an entourage.
Yes.
And the thing that they have prepared for him is that they have, like, a needlessly comfortable space for his entourage, right? Like, they are hollows. They are just soulless zombies that follow him around.
Yeah.
But
Absolutely.
the people of this hotel didn't know that. So consequently, these zombies have, like, luxurious quarters of their own, which is like unsettles everyone slightly because they're like, they don't seem to use any of the amenities we give them for some reason.
They sleep by standing in a corner, just like they just stand there and then they just shut off.
Yeah, exactly. So it's very like unsettling. The suite comes with all of these, like, adjoined servant quarters, which are, like, perfectly staffed and have their sheets changed every day, even though no one sleeps in them, and all of that.
Yeah,
so do
absolutely.
I enter into, like, one of the servant quarters, which is extremely, like, neatly laid out and made extremely comfortable and luxurious, and there's just a guy glare witching in the corner?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, that is exactly what has happened.
Turns around and asks if you want a biscuit or something.
Well, I actually think that. So I'm going to ask Abbas something, and then I will establish something about hollows that I've been thinking of for a little while. So Abbas, Mount Himagiri is, like, if it was allowed to be, it would be like a public monument in Udwasha, because it is, like, one of the great buildings built by one of the most famous architects of this place. But instead it's a hotel. It's like the Ritz or something, except the Ritz is not. Anyway, whatever. So when someone like Joan travels, like, on the roofs, what about the architecture reminds us that actually the person who built this was also very Udwashan, in that they were a huge roof ball fan?
Okay.
I so thought you would ask there, Tree. What evidence do we see that the shrine builder built this hotel? But
Oh my god.
So
Yeah, I think that would be too on the nose, but yeah. Sorry, go on.
someone built this like they were a Roofball fan and they built this to facilitate Roofball.
I
essentially.
think it was like an in-joke. I think they never expected anyone to actually play Roofball here. But as Joan is traveling, she sees the evidence that if they did, it would be a great time. So I'm just curious about, I like the Emperor's Suite specifically. And like, I should mention here that like, I'm not talking in this case of the original architect. I'm talking about whoever the current person is who made these changes and made this part of this suite look like it doesn't.
So are we talking about just the suite or the entire building?
The suite.
Oh,
It could be the building as well. Like, I mean, they designed the rest of the building as well. So it could also be that.
I think, the first thing that came to mind is that it's several blocks at different heights to facilitate like vertical as well as horizontal strategies in Roofball.
Nice. So in fact, Joan, you realize that like as soon as you come into the very nice servants' quarters, which I'll detail in a second, you realize that like it is kind of built in a way where you could leave through a window but enter through a different door. You know, the furniture is done in a way where you could leap from like chair to table to dresser without ever touching the ground, because as we know, when you're holding the ball, you cannot touch the ground. I think that you also see that there are markings on the floor for like where the goal would be if it was allowed to be there, and they are also like vertically in very different places. And the thing that I'm going to tell you about hollows is that I think that in Duskwall, they are, as you describe them, like kind of like soulless, mindless. Like they don't have very much like agency of their own. I think in Uduasha, because the spirit well like sucks all of the spirit energy in and therefore leaves no disturbance. The hollows are much more like machines, which is to say they don't even act on agency given to them by other people unless like Lord Skurlock uses his psychic ability to impress it upon them. Because I think it is the weird roiling way that the ghost field is in Duskwall that induces some activity in their own like selves there. Here, there is no such activity. And so this like the reason this person turns around and says, "Would you like a biscuit?" is that Lord Skurlock has impressed upon this person. Every time you hear someone, you must ask them if they want a biscuit. And then, like, as a result, it's not just do you want a biscuit. Everyone in this place is like, do you want a biscuit? Would you like some tea, sir? Would you like a foot massage? Shall I bring some I don't know. Shall I open the sauna for you? Like that kind of thing. Like all of them have just instantly reacted, and behind them is like the dull, nothing intelligence, because there is nothing for them to like respond to. It's totally normal and fun, guys.
Well, that's horrifying.
Yep.
Yep. All right. So Joan enters, kind of looks around the room with these strange people whom she can't help but think of as flavorless. It's the first word that comes into her mind.
Excellent.
No. Thank you. I'm looking for a guest. And I suppose, like, she doesn't know that these hollows can't respond.
Yeah, that is an issue. Yes.
Yeah. So I guess that will become apparent after a few moments of awkward silence.
Indeed.
And then she will shrug. Now, Joan doesn't only have a ghost made of electroplasm, but her body is also part electroplasm. Is there anything about Skurlock's presence that she can feel here?
You know what? I'm gonna roll for Lord Skurlock. Not to see whether he detects you, though he's going to do shortly, but to see whether he has responded to the poisoning thing in any way. And he has rolled 2 6s.
Oh shit.
So I will tell you this.
I mean, to be clear, I think the rest of us downstairs are now going to do a ton more to distract him because that's our entire job at this point. But yeah.
Yes, correct.
I'm looking for an opportunity to jump in as Freya, but let's keep going.
Yeah. So I think that the way that Lord Skurlock has responded to the threat of the poisoning is that he has taken one of these servants and given them, honestly, a disgustingly complicated set of instructions. Like, this servant is now going to almost behave like a human person, in that, like, they've got, like, programming for, like, a hilarious number of, like, potential situations. And that person is coming down.
So he
Right
took a
now-
zombie and he turned it into a pea zombie. I see.
Yes, correct. I'm glad that you got that.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking exactly.
Yep.
Oh, what if you... Anyway, sorry. So I think that the second thing that you realize, Joan, is that the room next to you, which is currently like occupied by him, has 2 presences in it. The first presence is definitely a vampire. The second presence is a regular human being who you can tell their soul is slowly being eroded. Because your body is also slowly being eroded. The electroplasm in you, because of your silver lung, right?
Yeah.
You can actually, you know what happens to you? Your breathing gets a bit better. The coagulation of electroplasm in your lungs that prevents you from breathing normally is actually clearing up. And you are taking the first normal breath you've taken in a very long time, I think.
As if allergy season is over. Excellent.
Indeed, yes. And I think that, because we were talking about Freya, this is a perfectly reasonable time to deduce that that person is probably Freya in that room. So I'm happy to like cut to that conversation, Freya, now, if you want.
Yep, let's go for it.
So, Freya, you are in a room with a guy. I have cast him in my mind as the actor Nawazuddin Siddiqui, who has a very quintessential face. And he looks weathered by time. He looks like the kind of person who has been through a lot. You cannot exactly put an age to him, but you do know that whatever age it is, it's older than you are, and it's older than most people you have met. And he's not saying a word, he's just sitting there and looking at it. And I think that, like, you've been in this room only, like, for a few hours, but you've been in this room with him for what feels like weeks.
Mm-hmm. And I am sweating like a pig because this
Yes.
man is radiating an impossible amount of heat. He's cool as a cucumber. He's sitting there. He's radiating impossible amounts of heat, and I can feel my soul being tugged by the flame inside him.
Yeah.
Think. So, am I restrained?
Oh no. This man, you have no doubt in your mind that if this man wanted to restrain you, he could, and he feels no need to do so.
Mm-hmm. I think Freya's just going to say, I've been here. I don't know how long. Are you going to say something? Or can I have a glass of water, please?
Of course you can have a glass of water. I'm so sorry. I wish you had said something earlier. And he claps twice, And Joan, in your room, there is a person who immediately turns around, walks to a pitcher of water, picks it up, and walks into the other room. By the other room, I mean opens the door, walks up a flight of stairs because it's quite vertical, and then we see the same person walk into your room, Freya, and it is a pitcher of cool, clear water and like 2 glasses, and this person pours 2 glasses, sets one for you, sets one for Lord Scarlock. The one for Lord Scarlock, you then see this person chops like a small slice of a cucumber from this garden in this balcony. I think we saw them take this cucumber and then they chop it and they drop like a slice of cucumber into this glass. And then Lord Scarlock looks at you and says, "Cucumber?"
Mm-hmm. One other thing is that the door of this room is lined with lead. And as soon as the door opens, Lord Scarlock can smell that there is a living soul outside the room.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that I have you to keep track of this for me so that I don't have to.
But it's okay. I mean, the cucumber is the top priority.
Okay,
yeah, good.
I have another idea for how to deal with him now, but let's proceed with the scene.
Uh-huh.
Okay, in that case, Joan.
I think Freya's just going to sit there like, what's a cucumber?
Indeed. I will mention here, Joan, that again, when that door opened, that sense you had of loosening, becoming slightly easier. Actually, now your silver lung became that. Oh my god! Immediately, this is now taking antihistamines. Finally, and then the door shuts again. Anyway, yes. Lord Scarlock says, a cucumber. Now, how shall I describe this to somebody who has never seen fresh fruit? It is very nice to put in your water and sometimes in sandwiches.
Yes, that sounds really, really good right now. Freya says, licking her lips, which are chapped.
Yeah, and
why are you doing this? I don't understand. What are you? Who are you?
All in good time.
Okay.
All in good time. And then looks at the
I don't think there's going to be much time left the way this is going, she says.
Oh, no, you are far stronger than you give yourself credit for. Please don't. What you are experiencing now is nothing compared to the flames that you have been through. Let me tell you. And you should feel no doubt whatsoever.
When he says flames, can I do my thing here? Because it's such a good moment.
Yes, excellent.
Okay,
yes.
I don't know how I'm going to set this up. This is probably going to be a very complicated action. But I want Abbas to use the spirit bomb again. Because what I want to happen when he says flames is that the dumbwaiter comes up with a single candle in it and then a blaze.
God, title drop!
I just thought it would be very, very cool if we send a candle enchanted by Abbas up the dumbwaiter, because of the few things we could do to Lord Scarlock. I imagine if that goes off in his dumbwaiter, it would at least flashbang him. It may not harm him, but it would be hella distracting.
Let's absolutely stipulate here that he is badass and he's very dangerous. And the flame of the star at the center of Voodoo is absolutely going to hurt him.
Yeah.
Right? There is there's no way I'm taking this kind of ritual and not this is absolutely
we established the dumbwaiter and I love the idea of sending him a candle with the dumbwaiter.
So let's say that yes, this is possible, but yes, what you would need for this to happen is to get somehow to extreme effect. Because extreme effect here accounts A for putting an arcane candle in the dumbwaiter, B, doing so without triggering anything, C, turning then that dumbwaiter on, right? Which in my mind are two different things, but and then D, hitting go at the right time.
Yeah, so this is probably a couple of steps, but what we have on our side is we have Abbas, who can create such a magical candle, and we have Miraz, who can tinker with dumbwaiters. So,
excellent, yes.
This is not really something that Vickers can do. I just love the idea of us as a crew doing it. And I hope you guys are on board with it.
No, that's a great idea. I was wondering, so since it's a ritual, which actually I didn't prep for on this score, do I have to flashback and take some stress?
We discussed 3 stress, right, for it.
You can just
So
do
you
a
can
downtime
flashback
action.
to that.
It's a downtime action, right? So you can spend a coin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Oh,
Yeah.
wait.
It's a
That
downtime
is
action.
Yeah, okay. Is that it? Did I not say any stress? I feel like.
Oh, you can still be stressed on top, but I mean that to do the ritual is a downtime action.
Yes. Yeah, that makes sense.
But there should be a stress cost on top of that also, of course.
Yeah, because I remember the stress being something because it should be stressful to do it.
Yeah, but I think the stress is still taken in a flashback because probably the actual ritual here has been performed back at the temple, right, where Abbas just like enchanted a candle.
Yes.
And
yeah.
That's good. No, we said that I needed one of the like what do you call it? The candles made from the wax of the spirit wax.
Yeah.
And so looking back at the rules, to perform the ritual, I need to have prepared it ahead of time. So in order to prepare it ahead of time, I have to flash back to when I prepared ahead of time.
Yeah, I mean, it could be part of the flashback, yes.
Yeah. Correct.
So there is a small supply of them in the temple currently. And so I imagine that as a 4 o'clock. So I would just take that 4 o'clock once now. Because it's like 1 candle is what you want here.
Yeah. So we have 4 of them. Makes sense. And we're just using 1. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, candles. 4. So yeah, getting that candle is not a problem. So I'll just take that once. And I guess, so take 3 stress for doing the ritual. And we should now, I think, like we had this conversation in our chat, but we didn't talk about it on mic. So tell me, this candle, what is the wax made from?
Sorry, I actually forgot what it was made from. I have to go back to the chat.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
I think it was made from the dead bees, was it? Like the death bees wax?
Yes, I think I found it, which is...
So the wax in the candle is from a soul yet to be consumed. And by this, what we mean is, if we remember our world building, the Rakshasas cremate a body, and the wax is made from the body that's left over, right? And the soul goes immediately into the well. But in this case, the candle, for some reason, the wax is from a soul that has not been consumed by the well yet. And I think the reason for that is that you've done this ritual in such a way that the soul is like suspended somewhere in the temple. Probably in time, actually, right? You've got a fun time thing going on in the temple, right? And like you've made the candle so that the candle doesn't melt. It's just like, it's also suspended in time. And when you do the ritual, you suspend it. And when you press the button or whatever it is, it goes out, the soul falls into the well, and it's like a rubber band that you've been like pulling. So when you finally let go, it goes boom. I only just came up with the rubber band thing now, but I think now that I've said it, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, and the soul is the link between the candle and the flames. It's
the well. Yes.
Yeah, the well. So I guess I don't know. The exact mechanics are up in the air, I guess, but something. It's a 2-way connection where the soul goes one way and the power of the well comes the other way.
Yeah, goes the other way. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, incredible. The last thing that I'm curious about, because I think this candle is such an incredible idea, is so you carried the candle into the hotel, right? What reaction did you get from the Rakshasa outside, like in your district, Daddy Danda? Because he definitely knew something was up.
I have an idea for that too. If we establish that you can use lead to block supernatural senses or whatever equivalent, just mark lantern and have kept the candle in a lantern the whole time. That's like lined.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Very good.
Okay, so this candle comes up. What happens?
Well,
No,
we've only
you have
established
to-
that I have it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have it and can place it in the dumbwaiter, but I think we need Miraz to actually tinker with the dumbwaiter to send it up, because
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
it's not necessarily that it's going there at the moment.
Miraz comes, meets you, says, "Oh, I know where Freya is," and then you tell him about the dumbwaiter thing, and then he goes, and I guess we're sneaking off towards the dumbwaiter thing. I mean, I guess we can cut to where he actually has access to it, because of course he does. Now he has an inside woman.
Yeah.
Right.
I do want to deal with like Vickers.
No, what I mean,
Vickers
but
confronting you, but yeah.
But there's the wonderful detail that during all of this, he has not noticed that he has like lipstick on his face.
Of course. And the thing is, I think, we were listening in on this conversation so that we could deploy Joan and whatever. So I think it just makes sense that the plan isn't for you to tell us. Right? The plan probably was we were listening in on the conversation and deploying Joan while it was going on, because that's just how the timing of this worked out.
Mhm.
But yeah.
Makes sense.
So Vickers doesn't really have time to speak with you, I think, in this moment. She is just directing you towards the dumbwaiter and is glaring angrily at you, but you probably don't notice because you're a little distracted at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
you have tinkering to do.
Yes. I think I'm going to wreck. I think this is a wreck, right? To send this thing up. Does it count?
Yeah,
It could
I guess.
absolutely be a wreck.
So yeah,
Mhm.
It arguably counts.
When you wreck, the work is much quieter than it should be, and the damage is hidden from casual inspection. So,
Excellent.
whatever happens in here, the rest of the hotel staff will not be immediately able to tell that something's funny is being done.
I have two things. The first is, I was gonna say ticks on your alert clock, but by definition, they won't know that they will not be alerted. So I think actually you're in a controlled position in that it'll only be one tick. And two, I have a devil's bargain for you, which is that the architect of the current architect of this hotel has to be a member of the foundation. They're an architect of like one of the most amazing marvels of like modern technology and modern architecture. And I can't imagine that, this is not going to in some fashion make you guilty of destroying a fellow foundation member's work.
Fozia made this.
Even better. Wow. Fozia is a secret roof wall enthusiast confirmed.
It's just a problem to solve, you see.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
Like chess on rooftops.
So you say controlled, but isn't the effect that there's going to be an explosive candle coming up to where Freya is?
Oh no, but that's at the end. So the controlled position now is to wreck the dumbwaiter in such a way that nobody knows that it's been fiddled with.
Yeah,
Okay.
It also makes sense, I think, because what we're doing is we're basically just doing one big setup for the people on the top floor for Joan
Makes
and Freya.
Makes
So-
sense. Okay.
I know exactly what to do with this, but we'll see. We'll see
Yep.
how it happens.
It happens.
It's a
Yeah.
6. So
It's a 6. Incredible.
Mhm.
Okay.
By the way, while we're
Um,
doing this, is my my inside woman here?
oh no, your inside woman got you in, and then I'm talking to her. But we'll get to that later. Get the fuck out of here! Yeah. That's why I figured your inside woman will smuggle you into wherever
Oh
this
my god!
control panel is. But then I'm dealing with her. Solve the upper floor first, because that's much more dramatic.
It's just a problem to solve.
Yeah.
Okay. Please give me a second while I think about all the moving parts. Moving part number 1. Is the
Moving part number 1, a candle. Moving up.
yes, indeed. Moving up. Indeed. Moving part number 1, the front of office lady, Oindrila. Is she coming with you, friends?
Oh yes, I'm bringing her. We are
Okay.
resolving this romantic drama. So all 4 of us will be where the dumb.
All 4 of you, huh?
Yeah, all 4 of us
Okay.
will be here in a moment. But first, Miraz sends the dumb waiter up. So
Okay.
We'll get back to that once we're done with the scene upstairs, I think.
Okay. Number 2 is the way that you are interfering with this dumbwaiter. Are you in some kind of secluded place? Because I guess you would have to be, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the
Because like
basement.
I imagine
okay.
actually what makes sense to me is that there is a back area to the reception which the dumbwaiter passes
Mhm.
through. Like it goes down to the kitchens and it goes up to the rooms. But probably
Mhm.
the reception is a good place for in between, for when you just want to go, like, you know, send this up to Mr. So and
Yeah,
so.
it's like
you know,
yeah,
letters
just send
and
this
things.
message up. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Okay.
Yes. I
It's
think,
good because if you had said basement,
Skurlock
there's
checked-
2 people there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, go on.
I think Skurlock checked in as Mr. So and so.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah. Excellent. That's moving part number 2. Moving part number 3 is the P zombie, who is also heading literally to reception right now.
Yep.
And moving part number 4 is Lord Skurlock himself. So, and we're going to cut to that in a second.
I have to ask, what is a
Um,
pea zombie?
Oh, a P zombie is basically, it's like a philosophical experiment where you have essentially a robot that can perfectly fake being a human, but is still somehow like soulless.
Okay, because
I
the pea
believe it's
zombie does
pea
not sound like that.
zombie, so it's short for philosophical zombie, right?
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
I would like to introduce another moving part.
Yes.
I would like to flashback to have
Uh-huh.
planted a hypnotic command in someone's mind that they will obey at some later time. So that when the candle arrives and in the split second before it goes off, Lord Skurlock's hollow, who entered the room with the pitcher and the cucumber, who is his servant and therefore clearly must be very strong and of like good physical quality, will kick Freya through a window.
Incredible.
Great.
And I want to add yet another flashback to this. Joan gave this command while wearing some fly-ass fucking boots.
Yes!
Uh-huh.
Smart.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the boots seem to be free to me
Yeah.
because you could just give her the boots. That's her problem. So I think, Joan, so long as you mark the boots on your load, it
Mhm.
seems fine. And I think they're like 1 load. I think they're actually 2 load, but also they literally levitate. So then they go back to 1 load.
I mean, they're one load because, well, Joan's wearing boots either way. These are just now these boots, you know?
Fair. Yeah. So that's fine. And flashback number 2 to have hypnotized this person. I would say you're in a desperate position because you're trying to fuck with something that belongs to Lord Skurlock. But you can do this, and I think you will have standard effect. I think, like, again, fucking with Lord Skurlock, normally you would only have limited effect. But in this case, you have standard. You have better effect from the fact that, like, you are in Udawasha, and these, like, philosophical zombies are specifically vulnerable to this kind of impression. So
I was thinking that, yeah.
If I may get in a little bit as well, I think it would be perfectly possible to fuck with the things while Lord Skurlock is secluded in his lead chamber. But then this thing enters the lead chamber, right? So then there's probably a moment where he can. It's possible to do it without him noticing, but then he can maybe notice before everything kicks off. Know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's part of the desperate.
Yeah. But I'm just flavoring it in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, yeah.
So this roll is a desperate attune roll.
I have a devil's bargain for you.
Standard effect, by the way.
Yeah, standard.
Yeah.
Your devil's bargain here is that while hypnotizing this hollow, there is like. So I think the soul in this setting, and you can tell me if this is A, weird, or B, not what we're thinking of. I think the soul is something like moss that grows in a body. And therefore, even hollowed individuals like begin very slowly and in a way that's like not enough to actually like help them in any way, start to regrow their soul. And so while you try and do this, it's possible that you will eat the tiniest speck of soul and gain a taste for that.
I love that, but I think it's somewhat implied, if not explicit, that Joan absolutely already has a taste for salt.
Yeah.
That
well,
is what
yes.
you think
I will
Godwin has
assist
done
you.
to her.
I wanted to make it a group action actually,
Okay.
but you
either
can
way,
still assist. You say
yeah.
first.
I'm assisting Joan because I realized. So we had probably planned for this. This is a bit of a flashback assist, but we have planned for, push comes to shove, someone will need to kick Freya out the window. And so I think my assist is a simple flashback to Vickers and Joan together, with Vickers going like, so the secret is all in the ankle. And I have basically
Excellent.
taught you in your mind's eye the perfect kick, which you are now, since this is magical mind control, just transponding to this hollow, right? So it will perform a Vickers signature kick you off a roof move.
Yes, perfect.
Okay.
All right.
And this has given me the time, to fine-tune my devil's bargain, which here then becomes, because you have a taste for this, you will eat this, and Lord Scarlock will have a split second more to react, because he's going to be like, wait a second, you're completely empty. How did that happen?
I wanted to.
Don't
May I-
take that.
Yeah, may I?
No, I'm not going to take that.
Yeah,
Um,
may I?
Yeah, fine.
Which is that the way I wanted to make it a. So remind me exactly what action this is, just so that I'm clear. Is it an attune?
It's an Attune roll, yes.
Okay. Then I think Freya was sitting there trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, who this man is, and I think she's been trying to attune to him, but every time she kind of like does, it's like she instantly starts like feeling the massive pain, because if he's radiating like physical heat, it's nothing compared to like what his soul is radiating, or like whatever equivalent of a soul he has.
Yeah.
But then the lead door opens, and then I think like because I'm trying to do that, I do notice that you're there. I notice that someone's there. I don't know it's you. And I think
Yeah.
then I kind of like I attune to you, right? So now I'm latched onto you as well. And maybe that's a bad thing for me. Does it make sense?
It makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's a straightforward attune group action. The whole thing is to like briefly take control of one of the hollows, and with both of you coordinating, maybe it's not that Freya can make the time Joan controls the hollow any longer, but you know what is going on, and you can like join in the good timing. So
yeah. But the implied devil's bargain here is that you eat a piece of my soul.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a group action.
Wow.
It's a devil's bargain.
It's a group action, but that allows that devil's bargain to.
I think it makes sense that it's a group action, but it's Freya taking the devil's bargain, and it's for harm in that case.
Mm-hmm.
Like
that
Freya
could be
gets
one
the
way to do
bonus
it.
Yeah, Freya gets the bonus to her roll, but she also takes harm because soul eaten.
The other thing that I will say, Emma, is that you have the essence of a god inside you, and Freya used to be the scion of that god, and so consuming her soul may have particular effects on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a clock for that, I think.
Yeah.
Good.
But let's
Just saying.
Yeah. But let's not overcomplicate things. I feel like this is a devil's bargain, and the straightforward way to do it, I think, is that Freya gets a bonus dice but takes harm.
Okay,
that's my vote.
I feel like soul eaten cannot be lower than a level 2 harm.
Mm-hmm. I mean, the door's open for a little bit and it closes, but yes, level 2 seems fine in that respect. It would normally be level 4 if she could get a real piece out of me, but no.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's desperate attune. I have 5 dice, and Freya is also running. If I take one more stress, I draw her out.
Okay.
Excellent.
It's a 5.
Wow. Okay, it was standard. Okay.
Yeah, it was standard. 1, 3, 5, 1, 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's for standard. Bonus dice. Do I have any applicable abilities? Okay.
Hey,
Doesn't help, though.
4, 5, 5, 4. Yeah. I mean, I will say on 5 and 4, that's 9 dice. You would expect at least 1 6.
You would expect to.
Well, don't make us feel bad.
No, I'm going to make your characters feel very bad instead.
But it works. So please describe this to me. Like, a servant kicks Freya out the window, and also a Basa's spirit bomb goes off in the dumbwaiter. Like, please describe this.
Okay, so let me think. Yeah, okay, I know what happened. The door opens, he asks you about the cucumber, and he for a second, like, and he's telling you, you've survived so much, and like, a flame, whatever. And the dumbwaiter comes up, and this servant, in perfect Ruth Ball form, picks you up, Freya, and kicks you straight out of this room, out of this window. Lord Scarlock does not stop this from happening because this is his clue to realize something else is going wrong. The dumbwaiter, I think you've wrecked it so that like when it comes to a complete stop, the door opens, because otherwise this candle will go off and the dumbwaiter explode first, right?
Uh-huh.
The dumbwaiter opens, and we hear it open. Oh, we don't, because it's a very well maintained soundless one. And the flame is a perfectly ordinary candle flame for a second. It is like a normal like orange, and it glows blue for just a second. And Abbas, I guess we see you like just. Do you mutter something? Do you like snap your fingers? Like, what is the gesture that you do to activate the ritual?
I think he just snaps his fingers. Put it that way.
Nice.
Yeah. I want to add, by the way, that I'm imagining there's one sound as the dumbwaiter open, and it dings like a microwave just before the explosion.
Excellent. Yeah. And I think that you can see him kind of the dumbwaiter goes ding. He will make the connection in his head. Wait a second, nothing was supposed to come up. This is weird. Okay, the dumbwaiter is an attack, right? And the fire explodes, right? And Lord Scarlock, and this is only standard effect, so I'm like thinking of like standard effect for Lord Scarlock in the way that like if you try to stab someone and got standard effect against someone, you would be like, okay, he's stabbed now, but he may not be dead. Have you seen by the way, the trailer for the Witcher 2 game? I don't know why anyone would say
I have. I have. I don't remember it well.
Is it the one where he freezes the entire ship?
Sorry?
Is it the one where he freezes the entire ship?
Yes, exactly. Yes. But it's the opposite. It's fire, right? And so the fire expands through the room, and Lord Scarlock manages to throw up a shield at the last second. But he is a being of flame, as we've discussed. And this is Holy Spirit flame. And this shield is not going to do enough to make this, like, to make him impervious, right? Normally, he would do this. He would emerge unscathed, like the king and his mage do in The Witcher 2. That would be fine. In this case, rather, the fire, much of it is stopped, but the heat of the fire is not. And the heat, like, flows through the barrier and begins to burn him. He doesn't burn his body, it begins to burn his soul.
I'll tell you what the problem is. He cannot stop. He cannot stop his mother.
Mm-hmm.
Come again?
He is the flame.
Okay. Yes.
That's what Lord Scarlock is. I don't know how, but he is.
Great. And we see him realize that this is what is happening. And now we'll start your desperate consequences, right? Desperate consequence number 1. The spirit warden, who is currently in the basement of this hotel, also absolutely knows exactly what is going on. And is going to grab Constable by the shoulder and say, the Emperor's suite now. And they are going to...
Yeah. He says that. Holds her shoulder, and they're there.
Excellent. Yes, very good. I was going to say momentarily, but yeah, they can teleport in Uduasha. Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So, desperate consequence number 1. Desperate consequence number 2. Joan, you feel this candle flame explode in the distance, and you know deep in your soul that no hunger can ever be filled by anything else except the holy fire. And this is the way that your old faith and your new faith are going to come together. That at the end of the day, your friend Madison can say there are so many tastes to taste and there are so many things to consume, but seeing this flame for the second time and seeing like the divine essence inside you react to that which it consumed from Freya, you know that one way or the other, what you need to do is consume the holy fire in the well. How are you going to do this? I don't know. But you've eaten a god. It's totally fine.
Wonderful.
Desperate consequence number 3. Lord Scarlock is fucked up, and he is going to fuck you up. So, he may not be able to stop his mother, but as we know, good mothers, ideally, and I don't want to make claims about any of the parents of any of our audience or of each other, should seek to protect their children. And while he is being hurt by this flame, he's also going to redirect it at his enemies, which in this case will be Joan and Freya.
I want to
Which
object
means-
against the Freya thing. I feel like the standard effect here was getting Freya out of danger. I feel like that was the whole point of the kicking her out the window move.
Fair.
I feel like it
Then
doesn't
I
make any
will-
sense. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, fair.
My desperate
then it's going to be
consequence will be that I'm launched
Falling
out
out
the
the window. But yeah.
yes, yes. Okay, that's reasonable. Joan, it's good that you want to consume the flame because it's coming straight for you, and it's going to consume you or you it, one of the two. A and B, Freya, you are flying through the air. This roof ball kick was delivered by someone who does not know that you should adjust for the weight of the thing you are kicking, and has just gone 200%. So you are falling. And as we've discussed, it's a roof ball arena. You're going to fall in a comical and hilarious way. And it's going to hurt.
Are you suggesting that Freya weighs less than your standard roof ball?
No, I'm suggesting that this man would kick a roof ball, ideally 200 meters. And he's going to kick you, as a result, 50 meters.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I want to flashback to a thing. I don't think this is a resistance thinking about it, but I want to reshape one of these consequences. So we have established that the Spirit Warden is popping up here to figure out what the hell is going on, right? And said Spirit Warden is here to keep an eye on Lord Skurlock. Yeah? Yeah.
Yes.
So I want to, because I have connections with the Empire. I, in fact, have connections with the diplomats and with the one Spirit Warden we have in the city, which is not this guy. We established that this guy is new.
No.
But
This
he would
person
probably
is new. Yeah.
But he would probably check in with his colleague. So what I want to do is to have planted a suggestion in the Imperial City with my diplomat colleague that this was in fact what Lord Skurlock planned on doing. He was planning to do some kind of like a powerful fire ritual in his room. And so this warden will go like, oh shit, Skurlock is triggering his plan. I better stop him.
Okay, great. So I will say two things. The first thing is that I think Spirit Wardens are they them, not in terms of their gender is a gender, but they are no identifying features whatsoever, right? This Spirit Warden's gender is Matt's.
I don't. That is fair. I don't know the wardens in any sense personally. I don't think Vicar is talking to them personally. So, but I guess I'm relying on Lenora Drakewell, my diplomat contact.
Yeah, fair.
They're also them because they're many wardens at the same time.
They are legions. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. So that was the first thing. The second thing is, I think that feeding this information is simple enough. Making sure the Spirit Warden takes this seriously is, I think, an action role. Yeah. Because it may not work in the way you want, or work perfectly.
Yeah. To be clear, I just want the Spirit Warden to take this seriously, in the moment, right? Some shit just went down. Skurlock is probably behind it, which I think is a thing they can be reasonably convinced of for 30 to 60 seconds, which is the scope I'm looking for here.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so let's say that then it's a fortune roll, and we'll see exactly how seriously, whether they take it seriously for 1 second, 2 seconds, 10 seconds. What is the
fair enough. So the story I'm basically spreading is that Skurlock is aiming to tap into the well of Udu somehow.
The well. Yeah, and they're gonna feel the fire of the well of voodoo. So, like, obviously makes perfect sense. Excellent. Yeah.
Okay. 6.
Does-
6. Okay. I think you impress upon Lenora, and Lenora impresses upon the Spirit Warden that this is going to happen, that the information came from like a very trusted contact, and that can it really be possible to take Skurlock too seriously? Right?
Indeed.
The other thing about this, and I'm just going to keep establishing things. You can veto them, of course. Is
Sure.
that
I mean, all you've established is bad for you, so I have no problem.
there's a secret clause in the Treaty of Uduasha
my
drawn
God.
up when Uduasha swore fealty to the Emperor, that Lord Skurlock would absolutely not be allowed in any way to tamper with the Holy Flame.
Yeah. That makes sense.
This is why this is why the Spirit One's like, holy shit, it's a diplomatic incident.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Okay.
that makes perfect sense, actually. Like, don't
Great.
let the other vampires near the Holy Flame. That's
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is fine.
one,
Mhm.
which seems to be
Yes.
made out of it.
Yeah. So my goal
Whatever
with
that
this
means.
is my goal with this is to turn the Spirit Warden influence consequence into at least briefly a good thing for us. And I hope I have
Sure, yeah.
succeeded at that.
I think what will happen now, by the way, is that you have 2 Spirit Wardens in the room. Because now that we've established that they can shadow step, it
Mhm.
must have been the case that this Spirit Warden was very openly there, and the other one was like, okay, you know what? I've received some information. I'm
Mhm.
going to be in the hotel, but I'm not going to make a move unless it really comes to it. And now it's come to it. So now when we see the other Warden, like, they also will turn up. But they are definitely pointed, initially at least, at the vampire, not at you, right?
Excellent.
And I think now let's
I
talk
think this
about
is
this
the only
other wooden.
consequence I can help with. So
Great. Yeah.
So
Let's talk about the other wooden briefly. Joan, what is this wooden's mask like?
this warden's mask is this warden's mask is not in the form of geometry as their fellow was, but it contains it looks like it's kind of pockmarked or like a really rough surface. At the same time, it's kind of like that like featureless slab. But what actually looks like a just a kind of rough, fine like grit is actually the entire codex of laws of the Imperium written on their face.
Incredible.
And that
So
includes
it's Matt's
like
wooden and Law wooden.
and that includes the natural laws.
And it also happens to include, in this case, the treaty by which Uduasha was bound to the Empire. So in fact, we see, if we can zoom in on this mask, exactly where it says, he's not allowed to fuck with the Holy Flame. So that's really good. It's very handy to have a reference, I find. Great. So, the other consequences, Joan, which is, let's be real, you wanting to consume the flame and the flame consuming you.
Yeah, and I think they flow together very nicely in that we see the flame approaching Joan as a glint in her eyes, and it's not like a reasonable reaction of fear, but actually like excitement of what she in this moment is seeing as a meal that is coming towards her, which is completely an unreasonable reaction. I think that she will be forced to try and consume what is coming for her rather than dodge it, meaning that she will probably be like knocked into or through a wall regardless of what happens. But depending on how well I resist, it will be partially as ash.
So let's see how this goes.
Yeah, how much of the heat she can absorb or metaphysically consume is basically what she's trying to do.
This seems like a resolve.
Yes. I think her silver lung might come in handy here because this seems like an arcane consequence.
Yes, it does come in handy, and it's good that the door was only opened very briefly, because otherwise you would have no silver lung. You would just have 2 normal lungs.
Yes. So I get a +1 die to resist arcane consequences. 3 dice in total. And it's 2.
So 2. You rolled 3 dice and you got a 1, a 1, and a 2.
Meaning that at least I trauma out.
Excellent. Let me. Okay. What I'm going to do is I am going to. You have this Kingfisher clock, which is at 1 of 4 ticks. I'm going to fill this clock, and we will discuss what this means, but it is unlikely to be good for you. The second thing that happens as you try and consume this flame is that, so we've discussed that the founding myth or a founding myth of your faith, of the Ceaseless Temple, is that the avatar of the snake rose from a flame, from the holy flame, even, maybe, right? I think that within you, as you attempt to consume this flame, the embers of this god, the shadow of your old faith, and the truly mad conviction that you wish to become yourself someone who eats this kind of holy fire fuse into something. And that something is not pleasant. And I think that your silver lung is, I mean, you're still going to have the special ability that comes from that, but I think now your silver lung will be a lung of fire.
All right.
And that's probably really bad for you. But, you did try to eat a fireball.
Or maybe
And
you can now breathe silver fire.
Yeah, or that. And what that means in terms of the clock and everything else, I don't know yet. We don't know yet. We can talk about that. But I think that we see you try and consume this. It doesn't work, but you have so much arcane stuff that I don't even think like harm here is what is happening. What is happening is rather some kind of fundamental metamorphosis. You are being changed into something very different, and you have no real control over. And you've been thrown off this balcony. You fall somewhere on this roof ball, this roof ball Emperor Suite roof. It may be very funnily very close to where Freya is about to end up. And you are knocked out as you are in this place of complete transformation.
Does it make
Freya.
sense? Does it make sense to have my team stand by to catch people?
Oh, yes. I think you should do that. I think that's a good flashback to have.
Yeah, we haven't really established what they did after they got Joan onto the roof, but now that I think about it, it makes sense for them to have followed her, just like at a distance, because we were trying to do this subtly.
So your team is the thugs, right?
Yeah.
So I would say that take a stress, and I think because they are roof bullers and they're good at like doing this, they can, but it's not exactly their wheelhouse, because they also have to be slightly subtle about it. They can't just like run around the roof.
No.
They have to make some effort at not being seen as well.
What I think I will do is I will not be able to roll command or anything here because this wasn't like totally prepared. I'll just roll their quality, which is 1.
Sure.
Because I think this is within their domain of like technically they are thugs, but I feel like catching people
but like
fall.
They're roof ballers.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of within their sphere of expertise. So is this a roll with consequences or just a fortune roll?
I think this will just determine how far away they are. Like on a 6, they will catch them in their hands. On a 4 to 5, they'll be like, 30 seconds away. On a 3, they'll be a couple of minutes away, right? And that could really be a big difference. So
yeah, so they roll a 4.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
they,
so I think
they
what
can
it is
stand by to catch Joan and Freya. Maybe not like catch them, but at least
like retrieve them, make sure that like
I got a plan.
Okay, what is your plan, Freya?
Okay, so I am kicked off. I am falling. How far down is the ground?
You're quite high up. I don't know, 40, 50 meters, depending. It can be any distance depending on like what we want it to be, because we don't
It's
know what
probably-
direction, and we don't know.
Yeah, there's also
Yeah.
sloped roofs and shit. So
Yeah, I got
Yeah,
kicked off
exactly.
the mountain, so I'm looking down. And then
Yeah.
So
So,
first-
if you
first
got
thing I'm
kicked
going to
off
Mhm.
in a way where like you got kicked off the cliff of the mountain, it could be 400 meters down.
Mhm.
But in that
So-
case, the roof ballers cannot help you. So
now I'm falling down. I see the roof ballers,
Mhm.
and I feel as I leave the aura of Lord Skurlock and his arcane deadening influence. As I leave it, as I feel it like a slip away, the ghost key awakens again, and I feel it tug at me, and I withdraw it from inside my nostril because it's a ghost key.
Wow.
It's not actually real. Doesn't matter.
sure.
I have lost and
Yeah.
found, so I can have an item on me. So that's the item I had. I hadn't been using it because of Lord
Excellent.
Skurlock. I
Yes.
pull it out of my nostril, and
Mhm.
I use a combination of that and like a star to kind of like arrest my fall and like open a door in midair and follow into it.
Excellent. You are in a desperate position.
Yeah.
Because you are falling through the air, and you want to open a door into the ghost field. But
Mhm.
you can do this. You will have standard effect.
Yeah. Maybe I can I fall through the ghost field towards Vickers' thugs?
Yeah, I think that can be one of the things you can do for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, let's do that then.
I don't think
I
I can
have a-
assist you, but I feel like Abbas could. Because you have this like bond with Abbas.
Yeah. Abbas, do things.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I will
Just you guys
offer
have been
you-
pretty synced, so
Yeah. And I will offer you filling that clock as a devil's bargain. The elephant clock.
Now I'm going to push myself.
I'm thinking, how could I? You're falling. You wanna? You think? Okay, so the situation is you're falling. You wanna?
I wonder if Abbas sees Freya falling through the window since he's just been hanging out in the restaurant. I don't know.
I'm dying. I'm dying. Can I have some more shrimp toast?
He's totally fine now, is he? By the way, we do have to cut back to your four-way romantic interlude as well.
We
So,
do.
you know.
Obviously, Abbas is fine. What happens in the restaurant when this happens, when someone gets food poisoning, is obviously they offer you free dessert. That's only like,
Yeah.
Abbas is clearly enjoying his free dessert, complimentary with apologies. This is
Yeah, some ice cream too. Soothe the digestive tract. Like, yeah. So how could I help in this situation where, like, you're trying to open the coast field? So, I mean, I don't have to be physically near you to sort of like attune as well and help you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you could. You could
are
guide
just-
me to safety.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Can you hear my thoughts or something? Like,
Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope.
Miraz.
No, I'm
How-
not Miraz.
Oh, sorry, Freya. Freya.
Miraz, you would never help that guy.
yeah.
No, I hear this. I don't know. Okay, throughout this whole thing, like Miraz seems to have this idea that Abbas isn't trying to help him, but I don't. Or maybe you, out of character, have this idea that Abbas
No,
isn't.
I'm just ribbing.
I have an idea for how Abbas could help, actually.
Mhm.
Maybe Freya kind of does take this devil's bargain-ish of the demon's presence, but Abbas has a demon bane charm, so it's just Abbas spending an assist to give a die by like
nice.
warding off evil. I don't actually know what
Yeah.
Abbas's demon bane charm looks like. We haven't seen it on screen, but like knowing that Freya is pursued by evil powers, it
I
does
wonder
make
you-
some sense to invoke it. But I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
So
I've underutilized my items. Just to say, I don't think I've used any of them.
Lol.
Lol.
what is a demon bane charm? Even like that's a pretty cool item. So
Yeah. Like, what
Well,
is yours?
whatever it is, I suppose we can figure it out later, and we can say for the time being that he can help you. He can use this to keep Freya safe from the dangers of what she's about to do.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a way to assist. I
Yeah,
feel
so
like this is some sort of very powerful religious talisman or symbol or something, and then what Abbas actually does in this moment is just like pray over it, and that's how it works. But
Nice.
It's a 5.
Oh.
It's a lot of dice.
I wonder if
But it's not a 6.
I wonder if the demon bane charm actually is just one of the snake's teeth.
Oh my
wow.
god. I mean, that's a lot.
Abbas, like a surfer dude with like a shark tooth necklace or something.
Exactly. I don't know. I'm just throwing out ideas here, but
Yeah, no.
So, Abbas, you bring out this demon bane charm, and what happens because of it? And by the way, like, so was that last one your assist? It must have been, right? Like, how much do you have in Attune, Fred?
I have 3 dots in Attune.
Yeah,
I pushed myself for like a star, so I got I got an extra dice.
Okay, no, I know what happens. So you use your demon bane charm, which is very unfortunate because the demon in question wants to help Freya, which we know. It thinks Freya is very interesting. It thinks Freya is very fun. But without the demon's help, doing something like opening a door in midair in order to like land in the right place at the right time is incredibly tough. And so instead, you pull this ghost key out, you slide it into the a door that was not there a second ago. You turn the key somehow, even though you're falling, and you fall into this door, right? And immediately your environs change. Because the ghost key, the way that it's been used before is to give you access to a different time, right?
Yes.
So what has happened is that you have used it successfully, and you find yourself in a different time. And I think the desperate level consequence here is that as you open this, like you fall through this door, and suddenly you're not falling, you're actually standing on solid ground. And it's very disorienting because all of the momentum that you had, you don't have anymore, but not in a way where like you don't have it because you hit something and now you're hurt. It's just gone. Because the conservation of momentum doesn't need to exist when we have like a ghost field. And you find yourself face to face with someone who looks immensely like you. It is you, maybe about 10 years older. And she, you know what? I'm not even going to tell you what she looks like. I'm going to ask you. But I'm going to ask Freya last. Joan, what is the most striking thing that this future version of Freya wears?
I think it is probably that she is not so much wearing, but carrying a scepter.
Excellent. Vickers, which scar on Freya's body is she most proud of?
Oh, scar on the elder Freya's body.
Yeah.
Okay. For some batshit reason, my first answer is the C-section scar from the baby she had.
Excellent. Amazing.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Sorry, what was that?
Great.
C-section scar.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, the Freya is fated to have a child.
Oh.
Abbas. Well, I mean, we don't know that in that this version of Freya also has the scepter, but you know, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. It's a possible future Freya, at least.
It's a possible future. Yeah. Abbas. What version of revolution is this future version of Freya committed to?
Ooh, okay, that's what version of revolution?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a very open question.
Yep.
Well, answer it.
I think so. I don't know if this will make sense, but I feel like whatever this revolution is, it's more personal to Freya than, say, a bus's version is, right? Like a bus has a more community-based
Right.
thing. I think.
No, I know what you
think-
mean. So she's
yeah.
like trying to change her personal circumstances
Yeah.
in a revolutionary way, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I get that. Okay. And lastly, Freya, what are the first words that the future version of you says to you when she
Oh,
sees you?
She doesn't. She stabs me in the heart.
Oh my fucking god. With the scepter, which is a sword?
I mean, can't
Excellent.
get more personal than that.
You can't.
Delete this false, aberrant timeline and embrace my true future.
If you see the Freya on the road, you must kill her.
Yeah.
We see her. I think like she is dressed in the traditional Scotland way, which is to say, I guess, a kilt. No, it's not a kilt. But she's wearing like maybe a long loose blouse and breeches, and she sees you like you fall through this door. You stumble for a second, and she like holds you, and you think that she is helping you steady yourself, and you realize she's not doing that. She's holding you still so she can aim properly. And the scepter in her hand, you realize the bottom is sharpened to a fine point, and she stabs you, as you say, in the heart without saying a single word.
I would
I
like to
presume
resist.
you will resist this.
Yeah, I would like to resist not being dead.
Good.
To resist dying. Yes. Yes, I would like to resist being dead, so that I can be not dead. Haha.
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Important.
Insight? Do you notice that this is what's going to happen? Yeah.
Oh, sure. So you are resisting by knowing that when you see a future version of yourself, the first thing that she's likely to do is murder you.
No. I see the thing coming towards me.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Yeah, that
I
makes a
also
lot more
think
sense.
it's
Okay.
not necessarily the future selves, it's the royal self. Because, I mean, Freya has been fighting her royal self for some time.
Yeah.
That is true. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
A 2. So that's 4 stress.
4 stress. So I see it coming. I think it still gets me, though. Like, I managed to move. It stabs me, but not in the heart, I guess.
I was thinking rather that what happens is she sees that you've seen her coming, and in a way that defies explanation, the scepter again, which was so rigid, becomes it becomes snake-like, and it twists around you, and it captures you completely. So now you are at her mercy. But she has not killed you because she realized that first strike was going to miss. And the royal version of Freya is disinterested in imperfection. So if she can't kill you on the first go, she's not going to bother harming you. Instead, she's going to leave you at her mercy. And then she says, impressive. Didn't think you could dodge that. What the hell are you doing here anyway?
What? Who are you? What?
Don't ask these stupid questions. You know who you are. You know who I am. Now tell me why I shouldn't get rid of you. You're doing everything you can to prevent me from existing, aren't you? I remember what it was like being you.
I think Freya's going to look at this person and just say, "Are you me?"
Yeah. Well, no. You are me. I'm not you.
She's like blinking, and then says, "Why do you have a scepter? Are you queen? Am I queen?"
Oh, fuck off. Nobody wants to be queen of anything. Worst idea. This belongs to the last person who tried to put me on the throne. I'm in it for myself these days.
I don't want to be on the throne either.
Yeah, but you want to be friends with people, don't you? Trying to get along with that old man at the temple. Be close to that. What's her name? Oh, forgotten it. Vanity. Something like that. The roof ball woman. Think she's your mum, don't you? She's not your mum.
Vickers? I don't
Is that
think
her
Vickers
name?
is my mom.
You think
Look,
she's your mom, just
I've-
like you think the lady is your mum. Just like you think any young woman, any woman who's even slightly older than you and takes care of you is going to make you part of their family just because, that's what you're looking for.
Listen, I don't know what's wrong with you, but I've had a long day. And I was about to be given a cucumber, and I didn't get to have it. And you just tried to kill me, and you aren't even real, and this doesn't exist, and I still have the ghost key, so I'm going to leave. And she twists and like kind of falls behind herself.
Are you? So are you using the ghost key again?
To open the door behind me and like kind of fall through it.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Flip back into the present.
Great. Once more in a desperate position. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is something that your future self would well know that you would do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it seems like limited effect, which is that you can open the door. I don't know at limited effect whether you can both open the door and like get free of her to fall down.
Okay. So here's what's going to happen. Yeah, that insight resist kind of really knocked me off. So if I push myself now, I'm going to trauma out for the last time.
Oh, you're going to trauma out. Okay.
For the last time.
Yeah.
Right.
So don't
Which
do
is
that.
fine.
Because it would be stupid to have Freya trauma out after all the trouble we went through to save her. Then again, it just means she's not a PC anymore, I suppose.
Exactly. That's my idea. I think that's fine. Like I think the arc kind of resolves.
Mm-hmm.
Are you sure? Because like we could figure out a way to be set for you to be set up or something. Or like to be honest.
Well, one thing, I am assisting you.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and I'm assisting you in a very fun, screwy way. I've been assisting in a lot of screwy ways this score, but
yes,
but I want to keep doing it. So, you do this, and you like twist behind you, and she goes, don't trust Vickers, whatever. Well, I am not one who is easily unremembered, and this is all a charade. So, in this moment, the future version of Vickers, which is obviously very different from some sort of parallel timeline, will remember a kindness that I have done unto her. Like, I am going to touch her heart for a moment and say, like, to her, I will not abandon you. And so she will hesitate for a moment. And this is how I'm assisting you.
So earlier when you said future version of Vickers, I guess you meant a future version of Freya. But I'm also wondering whether a future version of Vickers could appear in this scene.
Yeah, my point is it's a future version of Vickers who has said this to the future version of Freya.
Future version of Freya.
I'm flash forwarding.
Excellent.
Let me get in on that. Mm-hmm. So I can spend a stress, not two stress, a stress to manifest Vickers.
Excellent.
Yes. Perfect.
Flash.
So,
ghost image.
Very good. Yeah. So I think in that case, Vickers should roll. It seems to me that what is happening is that you are, because at the end of the day, it is your character doing the thing. Sure, it is. We are in weird time and weird space. Yeah. But the risk here is not. The action here is not Freya's. The action here is Vickers's. Because if you can distract her, Freya can slip past, no problem.
Okay. Yes. So, sure, Ghost Vickers appears in the scene, and we see some sort of weird future version of Vickers step forward.
Yes.
And
Excellent. Yes.
I think she will stare down the older Freya, and she will say, I meant it when I said your soul belongs to you. I will not have anyone stand in the way of your freedom, not even yourself.
Excellent. Desperate. Man, desperate great. Come on. That as an approach. A plus, right?
And I think I'm commanding?
Yes, it does seem that that's what you are doing.
Unfortunately,
man.
I cannot assist.
Yeah, that's fine. I will roll this straight, and maybe there are complicated time travel consequences to me if I don't roll a 6. We'll see.
I think that's pretty much it. Oh
I
my
failed
god,
the roll.
a 2 and a 3. Okay.
Yes.
I think that it is not interesting for this to fail. So I think it succeeds in the worst possible way.
Yep.
And the success in the worst possible way is that when you say this, the future Freya says, you didn't. You abandoned me. They all abandoned me, and I learned the most important lesson of my life. And what she's going to do is rip the ghost key from your hands, Freya, and use it. We see, she looks at it, and immediately it changes. Like earlier, it looked like a simple, steel key, and instead it becomes longer, grows more teeth, becomes almost bone-like. And she, inserts it into the air, finds this door, turns it, and opens it. And she picks you up, Freya, and says, you're coming with me. And the desperate consequence is that, both of you are returning to the past. So you're where you want to be, but there is a future angry version of Freya here with you.
Okay.
And I think that this version of Freya knows all of your secrets and hates your guts. So you can mark her as your rival, Vickers.
I will resist this, actually.
Okay.
And okay, I'm not protecting a party member now. I'm protecting myself. But I think the simple reason that I am resisting this is this gets so complex. But
yeah,
this is just one possible future version of Freya, and
sure.
I'm not resisting that she maybe passes through. I don't know precisely what the outcome of this is. I'm just resisting her being in any sense correct, right?
Great. Yeah, absolutely. Sure.
So she will not, in fact, know a ton of things about me.
Okay, it's only one stress.
Yeah, just because, timelines are all wibbly wobbly and whatnot. So he comes from a possible future that did not come to pass. I think that's what I'm establishing with this.
I mean, I think that is true. So you've made it true now for sure, in that by entering her own past, she has made her future impossible.
Yeah.
Right? And therefore, she might have some information about things like the temple layout and so on. But current Freya doesn't know that much.
No.
And as we've established, she doesn't remember that time super well. Right? So she enters, the door shuts behind her. And I think we see her breathe, and I think we see her realize, I don't really exist in that way anymore. And I think what she will do is she's going to toss you, Freya, current Freya. We're going to have to come up with a different name for her. She tosses you on the roof of this and looks around and says, well, I suppose there's a meeting I have to get to. And then I think she's actually going to leave you, because now she's in a new place and she's outnumbered. What she thought was going to happen is she was going to turn up in front of Vickers, stun you, and then kill you. But now what's happened is that she's turned up somewhere else. She's going to be a future problem, but she's not going to be a current problem.
I don't know if adding another rival to me makes sense. I already have 2. Do I need...
Oh, you have 2 rivals.
Yeah.
Okay. In that case, let's say that she's going to be a negative contact for your temple. So it's not that she hates...
Yeah, I think that makes more sense, right?
So it's not that she has it out for you specifically, Vickers. I think it's that all of you abandoned her, and she hates all of you equally. And what she wants to do is destroy the temple or something.
Yeah. Fair enough. I looked at my sheet, right, and I was like, when you
Yeah,
add
yeah,
a
no,
third
that's fine.
rival, it just doesn't pack as much of a punch anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Then the two rivals already become less powerful in that way. That makes
Yeah, and I
sense.
haven't
That's
actually
fair.
seen my two rivals for a long time either.
Yeah.
So
we mentioned the two of them last session because we know that the lady is seeing them, but we didn't see them actively. That makes sense. And I also I think, especially because the resistance, I don't want future Freya to continue to be in this score. I think she can come back later.
Yeah.
We
can figure out exactly what sort of consequence she becomes. But she for now, she has become a problem. We have some alternate reality Freya. Cool.
Your Roofball team, by the way, do see alternate reality Freya run away. They're very confused.
Yep.
Augustus Khan is like, hey, a double? Another one?
Yes.
What?
Uh-huh.
One did you? Anyway, yeah. I've read some Hercule Poirot. I can speak French.
Yes.
Anyway, so we have actually the only scene involving PCs now is the four-way romantic drama because the two Spirit Wardens and Lord Skurlock, whatever is happening, those are NPCs.
Yeah.
So the camera doesn't particularly need to focus on them now.
No, and to be clear, what the Roofball team is doing, like as soon as they have grabbed Freya and Joan, they are fucking
is
off.
running.
Like, yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah,
they are scattering back into Duasha. They're very good at that.
Yeah.
So I think they,
Yes. Yeah, they'll be fine. Yeah.
They will grab the two PCs and disappear.
I'm also going to break in real quick because it is 8 for me now. And normally we play until 8 and then I have like a different goal to get to.
I see.
So I would actually have to leave now, which actually makes sense because Joan is out of the score. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but
that's fine.
Shall we break it here then and just do XP?
Yeah, I think we can break it here. And we can do XP also because then I feel like this energy and the romance energy are quite different. So we can do the romance energy next time.
Yeah.
And we can kind of be okay with that. Okay.
Work.
And then Emma, that also means that moving it an hour earlier is
a good thing.
A good thing. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And do you want to do your XP real quick, Emma, before you disappear?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Do you have time to do that? Yeah.
I had a few desperates. I think I made a desperate Attune roll, and that was it.
Desperate Attune. Haha.
Yeah. I tried to make this joke like a million times, and nobody picked up on it.
I picked up on it.
Okay.
I was there
I
for you.
chortled.
So that's
I
one
was
XP.
reading from a candle ablaze.
And so blows out our brief candle. I named the disciples of the ceaseless temple thus, with both their given names and taken. Soumithri, called Tree. Zoheb, called Klow. Prince, Emma, and Aadiyat, called Soap. Intro music, Jalandhar by Kevin MacLeod. Outro music in Kiravani Ragam by Srinivas. Blades in the Dark by John Harper and Evil Hat Productions. Iruvian playbooks by Johnstone Metzger. Follow us at Desperate Attune on Twitter or email us at desperateattune@gmail.com. Support us at kofi.com/desperateattune.
On the next episode of Desperate Attune.
I think as Zajidan recites a poem, Shrine Builder just nods and finishes the couplet by saying, "We can only build the most modest of temples when all we have is moonlight."
Yeah, so I think so let's work backwards. Maybe he says something like, I have seen my cathedral shining in the sun. And then you say, but we can only build the most modest of temples when all we have is moonlight, right?
Yeah.
And when you've completed, he says, I did not think that my own son would be... I did not think it would happen to you, son.
Is it because you were passed over for dishonor?
It is not an honor to have yourself be stolen away. as has happened to my boy.
Tools come in many forms.
And when one's own child has a blade in his hands, I have no choice but to weep.